Okay, so upon returning to New York, our heroes look forward to taking some time to recover from the harrowing events in Bingham, Oklahoma. However, fate has other plans. Not only do they come back to stories of thuggish men in suits asking questions about them around the neighborhood, they also discover that their homes have been ransacked. A few days later, Molly, Vinny's sweetheart, contacts them with troubling news. Vinny has disappeared without a trace. Molly fears that he may have done something reckless or fallen foul of the local mafia. The team reaches out to their contacts at Caduceus, who promise to investigate Vinny's whereabouts but come up empty-handed. Meanwhile, Randall and Jamie face turmoil in their personal lives. Randall gets into an argument with his building's owner, leading to a threat of eviction. Jamie, meanwhile, has a confrontation with a former colleague who vows to have her removed from their position at the museum. As the days pass, our heroes notice that they are being watched and followed. This eventually leads to the revelation that the mafia is, for some reason, taking an interest in their activities. Determined to confront the issue, they track down a known hangout of high-ranking mafia members. There, they meet a tall, well-built man in a shabby suit, who is revealed to be the man who has been asking questions about them. He introduces himself as Casali. Loud and overly friendly, Casali acts as though they are old friends, making a big show of paying their bill at the restaurant. Before leaving, he offers a warning, perhaps even a threat. Not to trust Caduceus. I'll be seeing you all later. In the days that follow, Randall's landlady quietly retracts her threat of eviction, and Jamie's bruised and now timid former colleague drops any attempts at disciplinary action at the museum. Eventually, our heroes are summoned back to Caduceus HQ for their next assignment. There they learn that not only is there still no news of Vinny, who seems to have vanished into thin air, but that Karina has been reassigned to other duties inside the organization. Excuse me. I had all my things set up and they're all in different places now, so we'll just give it a moment. Right, okay. So, you find yourselves in the usual briefing room in the Meaden building. Dr. Gonzalez is there to greet you, standing near a set of maps depicting Iceland and photos of a smoking volcano pinned onto this board. He nods in greeting and gestures for you to all sit. You also notice there are two unfamiliar faces at the table, which you could perhaps, if they'd be so kind, to give perhaps a brief visual description of what everybody sees. Adi, if you do you wanna go ahead?
Is that me?
That would be new guy.
New guy.
New guy.
Okay, sat in the corner is a well-dressed, attractive, sort of late 30s man. Nice. His hair is very well. There you go, as you can see from the... sadly, that's where the good bit ends, because he doesn't really exercise too much, and he does like to consume a fair amount of food. So he has let himself go somewhat. But you can tell by his eyes that he's a very intelligent, observant man.
Okay. And Lee, if you'd be so kind.
Very nice, very nice. Sitting off to one side with his legs crossed and his hands in his laps, his hands holding a hat, is a rather distinguished-looking gentleman. His hair is thinning on top, but he's combed back in a way that makes it barely noticeable in the right light. His moustache is most excellently presented, his beard neatly trimmed. He has the definite air of an academic against him. His moustache, above his lips, has a slight yellowish tinge, indicating that the man is a smoker. And indeed, as he sits there tapping his fingers on top of his hat, you can see that the index and middle finger of his right hand are indeed tobacco stained.
Excellent. So Dr. Gonzalez says, because of the that we seem to be missing Karina, Miss Montoya, and Mr. Lazara, we thought it prudent to recruit, to redraft some of our some members from another team, another one of our reliable teams, and add them to your group to fill the empty spaces. I'm sure you can acquaint yourselves with each other as you make the journey to your next assignment. Talking of which, of course, I'd like to thank you all for coming along this morning, everybody. Thank you for being prompt as ever. As you can see, and he gestures towards these maps of Iceland and photographs of this volcano, our next assignment takes us to the Syrinscape Peninsula in Iceland, on the northeastern coast. The region has been recently plagued by volcanic activity and earth tremors in recent weeks. The Icelandic authorities are evacuating local settlements, but the task is somewhat complicated. The population is scattered, roads are damaged, and most concerning, some of the rescue workers have recently gone missing. So, while this isn't the kind of global catastrophe that we'd usually respond to, the situation provides an opportunity. We've been monitoring reports from our sources in the inner night. They suggest that this activity may be tied to an ancient facility in the area, which we were able to locate, thanks to the information recovered at the facility in Borneo by you, Mr. Monroe. And he kind of nods in Alfie's direction. Unfortunately, the inner night are one step ahead of us again, and has evidently already reactivated the facility. In fact, we have good reason to believe it may have been active for a year, perhaps more. So he picks up a pointer and taps a photograph of the volcano. This is Syrinscape, the volcano. We can see the smoke ominously rising from the crater. Joshua Meadham considers the Inner Night's involvement a significant threat. We need to act quickly. Your objectives on this assignment are threefold. You must determine what the Inner Night is doing at the facility. You must disrupt their operations. If possible, take control of the facility. So our researchers believe this facility was originally a Serpent person's scientific base used to conduct monstrous experiments. It was abandoned long ago when those experiments became, from what we can tell, unmanageable. While dangerous, the base may also contain research or resources that would advance our humanitarian efforts greatly. Recovering these would be a bonus to your other objectives. So he pauses and his tone shifts slightly. Now, you may have noticed these, and he gestures to the woodcuts of creatures that are recognizable from folklore as depictions of trolls. These reproductions of these woodcuts are pinned in various places all over the maps and around the maps. Locals have been reporting sightings of creatures that match their folklore, trolls, no less. They say, in truth, we have a little bit more information regarding these creatures. We believe these are likely creatures called Vuomis, remnants of the Serpent people's old experiments. Now, the Vuomis are small, reclusive creatures that, while fearsome in appearance, are more timid than you would expect. They were bred to be dominated, to be used as slaves. However, do not underestimate them. If encountered in large numbers, it is possible they could pose a threat. There is one other thing. Over the past year, people across the peninsula and the surrounding coast of Iceland have been seeing strange lights in the sky, moving around the crater of the volcano. Eyewitnesses say they look like shooting stars, but their movement is much slower and prone to sudden changes of direction. Now, some local academics who specialise in the study of volcanoes and seismic activity believe that these lights may be related to the recent volcanic activity, while more superstitious people among the locals talk of old legends and folklore relating the sightings to the actions of the hidden folk, or elves, or old gods. So he pauses for a moment, then steps back, folds his arms. Well, ladies and gentlemen, unless there are any questions, a private Caduceus airplane is waiting at the airport to take you to a camp. You can, of course, have a brief moment to gather any personal belongings you wish to take with you. We will, of course, provide any equipment that is necessary. Once there, you'll be briefed on local conditions by a guide that we have secured as is very knowledgeable of the area, the volcano in particular. And then you can set up and begin your investigation. So unless there are any questions, or do I take it you are ready to move out?
Local agents on scene that will know the true nature of our visit.
No, Mr. Savage, no. You are to keep the true nature of your assignment to yourselves. It is the person you will be meeting is a local guide by the name of Grunhilde Jensdottir.
I won't be writing that down.
Gunhilde Jensdottir. Yeah, I apologise to anybody who might possibly be from Iceland because we are actually going to butcher these names.
So we've gone from running around blowing up countries and chasing people around deserts to now chasing trolls and elves.
Well, it's obvious that Caduceus is sending us to Iceland to cool down for a bit because we've been obviously way too hot in our activities lately.
As we're quite an eclectic bunch of people, what is to be our cover story for the locals?
You are there on humanitarian, as part of our humanitarian efforts, of course, as is always the case. We are there to assess the situation, provide assistance where needed, without stepping on the local government and officials' toes. But of course, as you know, as with previous assignments, this is purely a cover story.
Yes.
But I suspect, compared to previous assignments, I suspect this will not... the cover story won't be a great issue. As I say, the area is sparsely populated, and where we have set up the relief camp, there are no major settlements for miles. Perhaps a few small fishing villages, and that is all. Most of the relief effort conducted by the authorities is focused in other areas.
Being as I'm new to the group, I'm going to sort of open a question to the rest of the room with the assumption of, can anyone actually speak Icelandic?
I don't know.
Not oddly enough.
That's a good question.
No, I've never had to.
So this lady that we're meeting obviously will be our translator too.
She will indeed, yes. She will indeed.
Hindi and Latin, no.
If there's any.
Yeah, no, I looked at mine and I was like, no opium.
Yeah.
You know, you're hoping new guys actually got Icelandic as a language.
Yeah. Damn.
This is why you're shoehorned in.
I mean, that's a very good question, though. What is your area of specialism, Mr.
Johnson.
Mr. Johnson?
Mr. Johnson.
What is your area of specialism?
I'm just going to tap to my mind. And the things I know in here, hopefully shall help.
You're an academic.
I am indeed. I like to read.
Oh. And what about you, sir? And I'm looking at the distinguished gentleman.
Oh, me, sir? I'm an archaeologist, sir.
Oh, have you written anything? I might know you.
Right, quick question. How Jake-like am I allowed to be?
It's your
You go for it.
How Jake-like.
Your long lost brother.
I once wrote an article on Mesopotamian myth in Mesopotamian culture in South America. You may have heard of my name, Anthony Williams. It was quite well regarded on the circuit on the time I wrote it, although there were a few people out there who considered to be an absolute lunatic. Could you imagine? Why they thought this? I do not know. I may have a copy in my room if you'd like to read it. You can tell me what you think of my hypothesis.
And anything in recent years that's not quite so obscure?
Not since joining Cordicus, no.
And have you been with Caduceus a long time?
I called it Cordicus, didn't I?
You did.
I just it gets called all sorts when I'm involved.
Yeah.
Thank God for that. It's like I've been here for several years. They brought me in as to use my they brought me in for my mind. No, I'm not so much with the humanitarian side of it, more the scientific archaeological bent of the organization.
But people
The
consider
doctor.
you a lunatic.
The doctor twitches slightly.
I guess, Dr. Williams, you could make a credit rating roll and see perhaps Miss Moore has heard of one of the book that you were speaking about, the paper that you published. She is an academic herself, after all, in more or less the same circles.
Which one is the crack part?
And I remind myself I'm kind,
Compassionate.
compassionate.
Which one? Which one is credit rating? Credit rating, there it is.
The one that says credit rating. There we go.
Kind.
Not a bloody chance.
Look at that. Why is your credit rating so bad? Well, it's not terrible, is it?
I mean,
it's pretty good. But
He did write an
Because
article a long
right,
time ago.
Right. Because nobody buys my books.
clearly.
And I'll say, oh, I think I might, because I'm kind and compassionate. Oh, I think I might call it. I'll have to read it to refresh my memory.
My other great book, 101 Uses for Chickens in Chikonkin Religion. I mean, groundbreaking, I thought. Mind-breaking, they told me.
Maybe we could read it on the plane. And I turn to the main people and go, can we go now? Like, I'm...
Is it-
I'm gonna immediately stand up like I'm ready to leave.
As you do, I'm going to look you over and Professor Williams, and I'm going to quickly check my pocket and verify that my wallet is still there. And finding it's still there, I have a little sniff and tear in my eye. But At least it is still there.
Okay, so Dr. Gonzalez, he tells you that there'll be a driver waiting for you downstairs in the foyer. We'll take you to your homes if there's anything you need to acquire before traveling to the airport. But he reminds you that the time is of the essence as usual. So just grab the bare minimum of what anything you need to take.
All my winter clothes.
So all clothing,
My
all
God.
that kind of equipment will be provided by Caduceus.
Oh, okay.
I think it might be fair as well for Dr. Williams and Mr. Johnson to make a spot hidden roll as well while you're at the in this conference room.
Oh no, what would that be for?
I can't imagine what that would be for. Can't imagine at all.
As you see, I am an observant.
Oh no.
Look at that.
Not as observant as Mr. Johnson.
Wow. Okay. So
Oh.
Does he mean to carry on?
Oh yeah, I don't fail anything. Don't believe in it.
So it's one thing that catches your eye. It's a little bit odd, a little bit eccentric, or if there's other reasons for it. You notice Miss Moore. Which hand is it? Is it your right hand or your left hand where you were? But yeah, on one of her hands, she'll tell you which
One of my hands, I can't remember.
she is wearing a glove, but not just like just a small glove, like a full, one of those full length gloves that runs up the forearm to the elbow. And I would say with that extreme success, Mr. Johnson, you notice that the hand in the glove the proportions are slightly different to to her other hand, which is exposed.
Is it a little bit beadle?
No. The opposite. The opposite. It is. It's
Sorry.
It's
He
possibly,
did have a little hand, didn't he?
He did, but no. This is possibly slightly bigger.
Okay.
Is it?
Her other hand is a little beetle. hand.
Yeah.
Just think Deadpool.
So yeah, possibly.
No, not Deadpool.
It's barely noticeable. There's only a slight when you with your keen eye you can see there is a difference. Possibly maybe slightly longer, perhaps. It's not fat or clearly like deformed or anything, but it's slightly, the proportions are just ever so slightly bigger.
At this point, I look down and I'm quite shocked at this as well.
I don't remember putting that glove on.
So anyway, as you are filing out of the room, Dr. Gonzalez wishes you luck, shakes the hand of anybody who's still willing to shake his hand, and they stop. But as Mr. Johnson and Mr. Williams are approaching the door, he closes the door off. He closed the door behind Miss Moore, who was the last to leave the room. Says, "Gentlemen, if I might have an additional word." And so if the three, Mr. Savage, Miss Moore, and Mr. Monroe, if you might remove your headsets for a moment, please. I shall give you a thumbs up when it's time to put them back on. Okay, I'll assume Mike's taking his off because I can't see him. Right, so if I might take a moment to speak with you privately, there is a few more matters I wish to discuss relating to your reassignment to this new team, but also to your assignment in Iceland. So there is a further objective that I place in your responsibility. under your responsibilities. There is a control center in the facility. And connected to this is a room filled with metal canisters. If at any point it appears that the facility will not survive, you must prioritize retrieving one of these cylinders, one of these canisters. It does not matter which. You will no doubt find several, but it is imperative that you recover at least one of these canisters and return it here to Caduceus headquarters. It is our hope that the information contained within the canister will assist us in piecing together what the Serpent people have been up to. I should stress that under no circumstances should you attempt to open the canister. The contents are particularly delicate.
Oh, now I'm intrigued. What's in it? I keep to myself.
We will do our best, sir. We'll do our best.
I knew I could depend upon you two gentlemen. The reason, you may be wondering why it is that I have spoke to you privately about this matter.
That would have been my next question.
I presume so. You're most astute, as always, Mr. Johnson. There is an issue of potential. There are concerns, should I say, with your fellow team members. There are suspicions, albeit only minor ones, but we aim to rule everything, all possibilities out. There is a possibility that one or more members of the group has been compromised by an outside organization. So we would like you to keep a close eye on the rest of your team and identify any possible double agent, shall we say. It sounds a little bit dramatic, but for want of a better word.
So are you thinking the Inner Night or a different organization?
It could be the Inner Night. It could be another organization. We really don't have anything more concrete. It may be that our concerns are ill-founded, and there's nothing concrete to it at all. But as I'm sure you understand, we must ensure that is the case.
Could I then request the dossiers on each of the other party members, so I would be able to identify any sort of changes in behaviour, or?
I'm sure we can supply with that information.
Thank you.
It'll be added to your belongings at the airport.
Fantastic.
So as not to arouse any suspicion. Well, anyway, thank you again, gentlemen. And the best of luck to you both.
I will shake his hand and put my hand on the door, and I assume we can leave.
Yeah. So he escorts you part of the way, but parts company when you reach the lift that'll take you down to the lower floors and to the foyer, where you regroup and meet with the rest of the team, unless there is anything you wish to discuss privately before you join up the others.
Yeah, well, I'm going to say to Dr. Williams, I assume we could probably look for at least one of these canisters each.
Sound idea.
The more we can get hold of, the better, I assume. Well, depending on how large they are.
We shall find out when we get there. But
yes.
we shall have to procure them in the most stealthy way we can, so as not to arouse the other suspicions.
Yes, that is my biggest concern.
Need be, I shall draw them off away from the site of our excavation, and you can procure the canister while I baffle them with my inquiring mind.
They could read one of your books, I suppose.
I shall take one with me to read to them on the journey.
Well, I'll pat you on the back, and we will sort
I shall doff
of
my
lead you through the way.
And
Okay.
we shall go and join the others.
Okay. So, as we can put your hands back off. Okay, and we're back in the room. So, yeah, you all meet up down in the foyer. As Dr. Gonzalez said, there is indeed a driver waiting for you. And you can... Is there anything you want to... any belongings you want to retrieve from your homes before taking... before traveling to the airport? I'd say Caduceus will provide all the equipment, the equipment and appropriate clothing, attire for the expedition. It's just a case if there's any personal things you want to bring along.
Ooh.
Well, I might bring my rapier this time.
Okay.
Can I bring my dog?
I didn't know that you. Since when?
I
did
didn't know.
Randy
When did you have a dog?
Okay.
It's not. It's just a skeleton now because he
Yeah.
hasn't been there for a while.
There is no dog.
I'd like to bring my pet bear, if that's all right.
Pretty sure I've got a Sherman tank here somewhere.
Can we get weaponry over on the flights? Or is it a private flight? Or
It is a private
commercial?
flight. Yes, you can.
Right.
You can
Yeah.
take weapons with you. Of course, you can. Yeah.
And Boto, bring me my shoggoth gun.
In fact,
I've got my usual archaeologist toolkit and satchel and ammo and stuff.
Same.
Yeah.
I also may take a typewriter just in case I feel the need to write.
I'm also going to bring my personal manservant, Kato.
I'm just going to bring my fighting trousers.
Yeah,
Your fighting trousers.
fighting trousers.
Ow.
Don't forget to bring your belt.
Oh, absolutely.
Mm.
I assume we'll have
Maybe.
backpacks and stuff as well for
Yeah.
carrying additional
Yeah,
stuff.
any of that, any sort of expeditionary equipment will be provided by Caduceus.
I might nip to the library maybe if I have time, or check my bookshelves to see if I have any books on Icelandic folklore.
Oh, okay. Well,
Ah,
in which case, I would guess if you could, let me see, what kind of role would be appropriate for that? Perhaps
Library?
library use is a possibility indeed. Why not? Why not? Indeed?
Anthropology, maybe?
Well, anthropology.
Jamie, while you're there, maybe find out if my alpaca would do well in that environment, or if I should leave her at home as well.
I mean, it is just the head of an alpaca that you have that has been taxidermied very badly, Randall.
Yes, I sometimes forget.
So yeah, you probably do have at least maybe one or two sort of reference. Maybe not specifically about Iceland, but ones that contain references to Icelandic folklore.
Okay.
If you wish to take it on.
I will grab that book to read on the plane.
Very good, very good. I shall give you reams and reams of information to read then.
Okay.
Because I'm quite nerdy, I want to try and grab a book on learning Icelandic to
Okay.
just get some basic sort of reading and writing skills.
Oh, you're going to be really annoying on the plane, aren't you? You're going to be shouting out random Icelandic words.
It's the only way you learn.
My character is English. I understand how you talk to these foreign people. You just talk slower and louder.
Don't forget to say, "My good man," at the end.
No, sir. Please, sir. my outstanding Oxbridge education.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Mumming and eyeing whether or not I should try and get a gun. If I do have a gun, it's going to be a Webley Mark 1 revolver.
Well, in theory, if you've been working with
Lucius.
Caduceus for a while, and you've been on any of the like little trips that we've been on, you would have an effing gun.
Madam,
Slightly smaller than an elephant gun.
It's like you would have a gun, a knife, and everything.
Madame, I have worked with castanets for many years, and they are not to be knocked. Mark 1 Webley, please, 455.
okay, so I will assume that you will, add in a few things, a few personal possessions, to your itinerary, to your inventory that you're taking with you.
A bottle of whiskey, medicinal, a more small snip to be added to a cup of tea to keep the cold away.
So, so yeah, you later that afternoon or that morning, you are driven to the private strip at the airport, where there is indeed a small single prop plane owned by Caduceus waiting to take you to your destination. So the trip to Iceland is quite quick and simple. It's the aircraft will take you from New York to Dublin, and then to a landing strip at the Caduceus aid camp set up outside the town of Bogner.
It's pronounced Bogner.
Would you like my character to read it out?
Oh, go on, man. Yes, you've volunteered for that. You can pronounce that.
So get the dyslexic to do it. That's the best idea.
There you go. It might make more sense.
Have you ever seen it?
Oh my god. Sticky.
Sticky.
Yeah.
Sticky what?
Sticky Shaloma. Sticky Shaloma.
Yeah.
I'm looking in the wrong place. Where am I looking?
Oh right,
chat.
yeah. Sticky Schlomer.
Steikisch Harlemer. It's something like that.
Yeah.
Okay, I think my sticky.
I'd just like to apologise to
Dicky.
the Icelandics who may be watching.
Yeah. So the camp lies about 40 miles from the base of Snæfellsjökull, the volcano. That one I can't pronounce because it gives me a pronunciation guide for it. Right, so you are on the plane, if you want to take this opportunity to introduce yourselves to each other, or so you can discuss things on the flight, if you so wish.
Well, I'm going to read my book. I look for the Icelandic, the Icelandic folklore.
Okay.
And so if I find anything of interest, I might read it out to everybody.
Okay, shall I give you a random bit of Icelandic folklore?
You give me a bit of randomness.
Give me a number then from 1 to 4.
2.
2. Let's see. Okay. There we go. I shall send this in a whisper to you.
And you get to read it all out, including all of the incredible Icelandic names.
Oh no, I'm changing all the names to not easy
in the
names.
game already. I don't know.
I mean, you're the one that had the secrets first.
There you go, Ange.
I'm looking at Discord. Why is it over on that screen?
Secrets? I have no idea what you're talking about, madam.
I don't know. I have to drag this over now. Hold on a minute.
So I want to know why we got like Battle of Britain music in the background.
It's Pulp music. That
Oh,
is.
that's all right.
It's the two-headed serpent theme tune.
I can see it now. You get like little montage of the plane flying across, and then a map with a red line going across it.
I did have that. Unfortunately, it doesn't quite work for the one to Iceland because it runs off the edges of the map. But yeah, we have used that before.
I'm just checking to make sure my character is indeed wearing a fedora.
But yeah, so this flight is a chance for you to get to know each other because obviously half of you, roughly, have never met each other, or only met each other just like a few hours ago.
Oh, well, I certainly expect that these people know who Randy Savage is. They've likely read, stories of my exploits in their local newspapers. So I'll wait for them to approach me and request autographs.
I'm in between reading and constantly staring at Jamie's hand without obsessing over it, trying to work out what's going on in that glove.
Okay.
And as I notice that, I go, oh, good chap, there is no wedding ring there, but I think she's taking a liking to me. But the game's afoot.
Oh, is this a challenge?
There's a foot as well as the hand.
Oh.
I assume my character's quite, obviously because he's quite charming and incredibly good looking. I'm gonna, look at Randy. Is Randy a little bit less good looking than I am? So if there's going to be
and very much older as well.
This seems like quite a simple challenge.
Statistically,
however, he has the air of a man.
Yeah, he's Randall's kind of
always close to.
He's quite rugged, but kind of average in looks.
Oh.
No, so I feel quite superior on this plane. Then I hope.
You're probably your looks probably outstrip the others by a few country miles, I think.
Yeah, I just got to spend the time sticking my stomach into so I don't look quite as disproportionate as I am.
Real life as well. Who's your tailor, by the way? Those are some mighty fine threads. You could tell a lot from a person who dresses, by the way they dress. And I noticed that your fingernails are there's no dirt in them either. You keep yourself very well kept.
Are you talking to me, I assume?
Yes.
Yes. It's mostly spending my time in books and learning. I'm not one to really get my hands dirty, which is... I'm not overly looking forward to going to Iceland.
Oh, really?
But
you've been there before?
No, it just seems cold and remote.
Something in the name.
Yes, but think of all the different animals that you won't find anywhere else that you can encounter and hunt. It provides opportunities that you won't find in the Sahara Desert or in the wild jungles of Borneo, and I'll continue to list on places that I believe I've been on great hunts.
You never been to Iceland either, Randy?
Not on purpose. There was that one time where I overslept on a flight, but I was paperwork and such.
See, I like the hustle and bustle of New York. It's a safe city.
Yeah.
So have you been with Caduceus long?
Seems like years.
No, just a few months that we've known each other.
Given that the life expectancy of a Caduceus agent is measured in months, I would say yes, we are quite veteran.
They are an interesting bunch.
So, if I might butt in just briefly. So, as promised, Mr. Johnson, they are the requested piece of paperwork. So I guess the best way to handle that is if there's any questions you want to ask of your fellow employ Caduceus
While he reads that, I'll look up from my book.
Is the best way. They must, which of course they are bound to answer honestly because of the information that you have.
What?
Although I will perhaps vet the questions before they answer them.
Okay, so while he reads that, I'll say, "This is fascinating. You know, I wonder if we're going near the Nesfelines Peninsula."
You tell me more. It sounds very exciting.
It is that very, very peninsula. Yes, that's where you're headed.
Oh, there's such a romantically and wonderfully sad story about a troll lady. Oh, that we need to go and visit that. If we have time, we have any downtime, we will go and visit. We will lay some flowers upon the waterfall. It was a sweet but sad story.
We can hunt trolls in Iceland?
I was going to say, did I hear you correctly? You said troll lady?
Troll lady.
It's a folklore, but the folklores are so sweet. I don't believe them, but the actual idea of the folklores are lovely. They come down and, you know, from a real story, and then they get exaggerated over the years, and they become, you know, myths and legends and stories to frighten our children with. But this one is so sweet. It's a troll lady that fell in love with a human and then got caught leaving and turned into a giant stone near a waterfall. It's so sweet. It's romantic.
This troll lady, the kind that perhaps hides under a bridge.
No,
Right.
she was a lonely troll, and she was on her own, and she watched the humans from afar, and then she fell in love with somebody. And she sneaked in. They had a lovely chat, and she was going to come back, but unfortunately, she left it too late to leave and got caught by the sun and turned to stone forever. And you can hear her weeping in the wind.
I wonder whether this was one of the vulners. The things we're told not to trust.
Well, maybe so, but it's a folklore.
But all folklores are based on truths?
They're based on exaggerated truths. So as the time goes through and the story gets passed on from generation to generation, they get made more fanciful and there to scare children to keep them in bed.
That would be quite an archaeological find if you were to find that doctor.
Oh, it's well documented. It's in there. It's well documented. The locals leave gifts at the foot of it. So I would love to see it, just to be the fascination. Take a picture. We could have a picture by it, Mr. Savage. One for the album.
That sounds quite lovely.
Anything else in that book of yours that you've read?
Well, I've only read that so far, so I will keep reading and see if there's anything else.
Okay. So, is there any questions that Mr. Johnson wishes to ask?
What about the hand? I can't. Well, not yet.
Ask of your other team members that would
gentlemen like to call out my arm.
That would simulate the information that you have been given in these dossiers.
Yeah. So, you've been together a few months now. Where was your previous assignment?
So you are answering. So this information is from dossier, some dossiers he's got. So you're not answering as your characters. You are, revealing information that would probably be on your file at Caduceus. So you must answer.
Oh, Oklahoma.
So you must answer truthfully, if you can remember.
Oklahoma. It's Oklahoma, remember?
Oh, it was Oklahoma. Yeah. Bingham, Oklahoma. Yeah. That was. I mean, would you have access to what we were doing there? Is it that kind of depth?
Yes. Yes. Like I say, I will vet any answers before you give them, just in case. But yeah, I would say it's. These are. Yeah, he would know what it would say what you were doing there. Yeah.
Yeah, so we were investigating some radio broadcasts made by Reverend Cornfield in Bingham, Oklahoma. For the suspected, can't remember if it was Inanite or Yig, the father of serpents, activity regarding either of those organizations, and if there were organizations. But is that about right, Phil? Would that be?
Yeah, I would say so. Yeah. So
Yeah.
so Reverend Cornfield was transmitting broadcasts that in the broadcast were hidden Nakal.
In the language of Nakal,
Yeah.
messages about Yig.
Teachings of Yig in the language of
Yig, the
Nakal.
father
There
of
was like like backmasking in the broadcast.
Yes. There were a few deaths involved in the investigation.
But we were highly professional, which is why they've asked us to complete another one.
A few wallets were pilfered.
Yeah.
A woman, question mark, may have almost been clubbed to death accidentally.
I think those details would perhaps be
not be on the record. Yeah.
Oh,
Yes.
They were funny though. I mean,
I'd like to think that was redacted.
Yeah.
All I'll say is we did a job so well, so quick, so stealthily.
Nobody knows anything about it.
We found out the information that was asked of us, and we got out swiftly.
I see whether or not the record would have things like it appears that the Reverend Cornfield was running a church that was up to some nefarious activity, potentially involving the local sheriff's department and a number of the sheriff's deputies.
Mm-hmm.
And it was eventually kind of brought down when one of the deputies whistle blew effectively on what was going on in the. Would that be in the record? Or is that more like the news?
Possibly. Maybe there would have been maybe a couple of the newspaper clippings from the newspapers, but that would have been an aside rather than a concern.
Yeah.
And then, of course, it's probably is. Then, of course, before that, there is mention of they're involved in a incident in northern Borneo. There is some news clippings attached to that, concerning a large detonation of unknown origin, which decimated a small. An area of several miles across, incinerating the area, and about 300 people, including a British military camp, and a tobacco plantation. 300 people are believed to have died. It was a site of a suspected cholera outbreak, but Caduceus had sent them there to investigate if there was any involvement with the Inanite, and indeed they suspected that the outbreak was not cholera but a disease engineered by the Inanite called the Yellow Death, which turned out to be correct. The explosive device was something called a Haftarang device, which was essentially, although such a thing doesn't exist, but essentially it was a nuclear device that sterilized the area accidentally.
Okay, I was waiting to see whether it was deliberate or not.
It was broken.
It was broken when the plane crashed that took them there.
Which has nothing to do with it.
It wasn't flying.
Then prior to that, you were in the jungles of Bolivia, where they were charged with extracting the remains of a mummy from a serpent person temple that had recently appeared, for want of a better word. According to the reports, the dossiers as well, the mummy was actually alive, a living mummy. A serpent person sorceress by the name of Tyrannesh. There is perhaps a side note, an amendment to this dossier, to this part of the dossiers, noting that Tyrannesh escaped from Caduceus' custody, killing several people in the process and causing considerable damage to one of the floors in the Meadham building.
There's a lot of killing and a lot of destruction, isn't there, in these files?
There is.
None of it is our fault.
At least they're consistent.
But other than that, they're like mission statements, briefings, they're like debriefings and things are quite brief. But other than that, there is detailed background information about each person.
What makes me laugh is that he got the debrief and he noticed there was a lot of killing. Good job you didn't see the whole file.
So I guess if each of you would, for Mr. Johnson's benefit, if you would give just a really brief rundown of your background. Randy, start with Randy because I'm looking at you.
Yeah, sure. A brief background is I am a hunter, a small and large game hunter. I've traveled the world, or as much of it as I have been able to. I'm living off of the fame of that and the articles written about me. I probably participated in hunts with other hunters as well. I am widowed. Is that the correct term? My wife is no longer. I am a widower. And that is kind of what occupies my mind when I'm not around is the fact that I lost my wife. I am a little bit of an older gentleman, aged 57, and living in New York.
Okay. And Miss Jamie Moore.
I am an archaeologist, but I also work within the library. Actually, I just realised that's not Indiana Jones. I am a bit of a risk taker. I like to rapier fight. Which is really bizarre.
I'm glad you said that.
No, don't even ask. I have a passion for uncovering mysteries and a curiosity of the world and willingness to explore and take risks. I am kind, compassionate, and caring.
Bear that in mind.
Something caught in my throat.
I think that works.
Yeah. I'm very. That's about it, really. Just remember, I'm kind, compassionate, and caring.
Yeah, you'll need to remember because Ange probably won't.
Hang on. Did she mention that she's an expert in first aid?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I am actually. I just
critically failed every time you've tried to.
Rolled very badly.
It's very hard to first aid an explosion that kills like 300 people.
And finally, Mr. Alpimundru. Very brief background.
Monroe is an investigative journalist currently working for the Washington Post. He is described as being quite a cynical gentleman. He is originally from the United Kingdom. Cut his teeth over on Fleet Street in the UK. I suppose that'll do for now, won't it? Yeah.
Oh, is that it?
Okay.
Yeah, you said keep it brief.
I did, yes. I just missed the end of it. Okay, so that is kind of information you get from the dossiers you've been given. If there's any further questions you want to ask, you can direct them towards me, and I shall do my best to answer them if it's the kind of information that would be included. So meanwhile, while Mr. Johnson is studying these dossiers, these files, and while Miss Moore is reading her books on folklore, Alfie.
It will be a... Oh,
sorry. In your valise that you carry with you,
yes,
you find, which we have mentioned previously, but this is still kind of recap. You find a heavy manila envelope, sealed, and with nothing written. There's nothing written upon it.
If anybody's watching him as he takes this envelope out, they'll probably see him kind of sniff the envelope.
Oh, well, in which case, I think you can all make a spot hidden roll to see if you do indeed. Mm-hmm. I would suggest, though, that Miss Moore and Mr. Johnson do that with a penalty dice, since their attention is focused elsewhere.
Spot hidden, let's see. I can only fail so many times. Like that one. Dr. Williams has his hands pressed on each side of the porthole of the airplane window, his face pressed against it like a small child as he watches the clouds pass beneath him.
Okay, grown-up question. Sorry. Do I go to the bonus dice -1? Is that what I need to do?
Yes, it is. Yes, yeah. Sorry, I was just about to. Yeah.
Oh, fascinating, these planes. Fascinating.
Look at that. You still noticed. Wow. Okay, so you do indeed notice that Alfie Monroe retrieves this heavy, this weighty-looking manila envelope, large manila envelope, A4 size at least. Retrieves it from his valise. Seems perhaps slightly surprised that it's there, and then oddly sniffs it.
Like you do. Yeah.
And Mr. Monroe, I will confirm your suspicions. Yes.
Okay. I'm going to stop reading and start looking at Alfie.
Okay. Okay. I suppose, Alfie, in turn, that would you'd be welcome to a spot hidden roll to see if you realise that Mr. Johnson is looking at. Is Mr. Johnson looking at Mr. Monroe guardedly, or just blazingly looking at him?
Yeah. I'm looking to kind of see what he does, and I don't mind whether he notices me looking at him.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
Oh.
Success?
Yes. High roll, but still success due to your good spotting skill. So yeah, Mr. Johnson, Dwight Johnson is just like looking right at you as you do this. As you're sniffing the envelope, you notice is watching you.
Yeah, it's like a confused look, as in like, what are you doing type look. I'm not just staring at him like that. It's more of a.
I'll shoot a look back.
Why is this man sniffing his envelopes?
Yeah. I'll give like a little embarrassed smile. And then perhaps angle myself slightly so that the envelope is out of sight as much as possible, between the seats, and as I open it and have a look inside.
Okay, I'll nod back to acknowledge your smile and then return back to my book.
Mr. Johnson, if I will give you this option, if you want to spend 8 luck to turn that into an extreme, there might be a little bit more that you notice.
Ooh. Yeah.
So,
I'd be a fool to decline it.
If you click on the dice roll card in the chat, it will expand it, and there will be a button that says "Increase Success Extreme 8 Look," and it will automatically do all the business for you.
Oh, Byleth, you are so evil.
There we go.
Okay, yeah. So, So my luck's reduced by 8. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah.
It does that automatically, so that's cool.
Yeah.
There is. It's only faint because there's some distance between you, but you detect a faint aroma of perfume, but not only that, expensive perfume.
Ooh.
Gentleman's perfume.
Clearly, to clarify that, clearly a lady's feminine kind. It's not aftershave. It is expensive ladies' perfume. Is Alfie doing anything, or is he just going to stuff that back in his valise for now?
I think he will open it. Sorry, that's why I kind of shift slightly in my seat.
You did.
To kind of keep the contents out of sight of prying eyes, if you like.
Okay.
Or ones that I've noticed anyway. And have a look. I kind of lift out the first few sheets to see what it is, what's inside.
Well, inside this manila envelope, like I say, it's quite bulky, quite heavy. Inside is a leather folio tied up with like a leather strap, kind of that wraps around it, secures it, and a book with a buckle.
Yeah. So probably lighting a cigarette, I'll start to casually unwrap that and have a look inside and see what's on the first page inside that.
Okay, so
is it like a journal type thing? Is it?
Well, opening up this folio inside, kind of like a concertina type thing.
Oh, right.
And inside are a few hundred sheets of paper, several photographs. Some of the sheets of paper look to be typed, but most are handwritten. The paper stock ranges from modern onion skin typing paper, which you use on a regular basis, to rough, yellowed, and cracked handmade paper, as well as a few pieces of ancient-looking vellum. Most of the sheets are loose, but perhaps half or so of them are bound together, have been sewn together with string, like hand-bound with string.
Okay. I suppose the photographs will be the first thing to take a look at, just because it might give you some indication as to what it's all about. But...
So, can you give me a, let's see, it would be anthropology, or a hard education roll, or a... have you got anything to do with languages, perhaps, Mr. Monroe?
I have an insane language talent, if that would be of any use.
It might be, because there is language related. So does any part of that trigger automatically, or do you have to spend...
I just gain temporary grasp of all modern languages or one archaic or mythos language for a short time. It lasts long enough to conduct an initial reading of a tome, conduct a conversation, or listen to a speech. Okay. Effective skill is 75%.
Wow.
However, should I fail... Should a roll be required for the use of the new language, it says, and a failed roll means that the hero forgets their native tongue for 1d6 days.
Okay, so it won't. In which case, it won't require a roll. Not at least not for just recognizing. So the photographs are of ancient-looking Chinese clay tablets covered with writing. Ancient, like archaic Chinese writing, and unwholesome carven images. According to the notes attached either written on the back of the photographs or with like attached piece of paper. They've been taken from archaeological sites all around the world, not just from China, all over the globe.
Oh.
So I do apologize. The writing that is carved upon these Chinese tablets, so it's recognizable by the design that the Chinese in origin, but the majority of the script on the tablets is a Nakal.
Okay. I mean, I do have very small amount of Nakal, so I might recognize it anyway, as even if I can't read it.
Yeah, it's recognizable as the Nakal, but the quality of the photographs and the size, it's not enough to be able to read from them. No.
Okay. No, fair enough.
Now, whether the paperwork references these or not would require some study of the paperwork.
Yeah, there's no note or anything attached with it inside the envelope about.
No.
Okay.
No, just this. Oh, sorry. I think of course there is. Yeah, what am I talking about? I'm thinking you mean other pertaining to something other than the content, other than the actual.
Yeah.
Yes. So yes, there is indeed a note on a piece of notepad paper. You can make a spot hidden from this as well.
Okay.
You'll need at least a hard success though.
Okay.
But I will tell you that written in again, like the previous note we received, written carefully in block capitals, so as if to disguise the handwriting, it says, "From a friend."
Ooh.
Oh, so that would require you could either come up with some way of pushing it.
Yeah.
Or it would require spending 38 luck. Oh no, 14 luck. Sorry, to make it a hard success.
Yeah, I'm not gonna spend the luck on that. Not got enough really to do that and keep above 30. So for now, I'll ignore.
Okay, so that raises a point. We should have done not for the new characters, but for the veterans. We should do a look refresh, but we'll do that. We'll sort it out in a moment. Unless that would affect whether you would do this.
To be honest, I think we've probably already done the refresh because I was below 30.
Oh
so
yeah, right.
Yeah, so don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Okay, fair enough then. Right, so so like I said, the flight is quite straightforward. The longest part of the flight is from New York to Dublin, obviously. There's a short stop over there, refueling before the plane takes off from Dublin to Iceland, where it lands outside the town of Steikholmsmöður on the northeast coast of the Snæfellsnes Peninsula. So this the city, or the town rather, is just is some distance from the aid camp. So a member of the Caduceus aid team is there to meet you at the airport and transports you to the aid camp. And I think we have to, because it's I think we can't. It would be a shame not to run this little transition scene again, would it?
No, go for it.
Love it.
Among the most unique of the more remote kingdoms of the earth is that little island on the fringe of the arc known as Iceland. Its first colonists were wise and high-born chieftains, or Vikings, who brought from their mother country, Norway, an already advanced civilization over 1,000 years ago. Although it may be dull and drab in its atmospheric and architectural character, Reykjavik is a praiseworthy monument to the courage and endurance of a people who for 11 centuries have battled unflinchingly with nature's most devastating plagues. In this dreary land of brief summers and long winters, where green grass, flowers, trees, and even sunshine are the rarest of luxuries,
Okay. So, you arrive at the Caduceus aid camp, which is clearly, even with your limited experience, is clearly a token operation that is just, the purpose of which is just to grant Caduceus a foothold in the area. There are about a dozen staff overseeing activity around 4 large tents, each tent providing about 24 beds, all of which are empty. There are no refugees, no injured people, nobody here that requires Caduceus's humanitarian aid, at least not presently. Various Caduceus medical personnel are busy and about the camp, setting up various apparatus and other tents and facilities, preparing should the volcano that you can see in the distance, but maybe about 10 miles distant from your location, should the volcano erupt. There is no evidence of any official Icelandic authorities here at the camp. The only people present are Caduceus employees, and as far as Caduceus employees go, they're only low-level humanitarian employees, which presumably are unaware of the true purpose of your visit here.
They would be aware of the Caduceus, I guess, workers that have gone missing.
So there's no Caduceus workers that have gone missing. It's Icelandic. Yeah, it's like Icelandic aid workers that have gone missing. No Caduceus staff have gone missing.
Okay. So would they be aware of that?
Yes. They will have had the same briefing that you have, minus the stuff about trolls and Serpent people, of course.
Oh, and just remind me, the thing that had been activated, the base that the base thing.
Mm-hmm.
Where was that? Was that the volcano?
It is supposedly located in the volcano.
Vad vi inget om, Lisa.
No, the dormant volcano, I hope.
Oh, it is. It's clearly not dormant. This is, as was mentioned.
That's why everyone's been evacuated. Yeah.
Yeah. During the briefing, over the past few months, it has become active.
Yeah.
And the last few weeks, alarmingly so. In fact, within about 20 minutes of your arrival at the camp, you feel only faint, but you feel a tremor in the ground through your feet.
That's enough to make anybody feel faint.
So, sorry, go on.
Is there any vehicles about?
There is a single vehicle at the edge, at the southern edge or western edge of the camp. It is a rusty, battered Model A Ford truck, or Model AA Ford truck, by which is stood a rather large, muscular, athletic-looking woman maybe in about mid-40s, with long blonde hair pulled tightly back in a bun and a ponytail, and she's clearly paying attention to you as you when you arrive at the camp, though she doesn't approach.
Does anybody meet you? Or is it
I'm
just
feeling that maybe our contact's waiting over yonder.
No, you're pretty much dropped off at the camp, and nobody approaches you in an official capacity or anything. Maybe there's some of the medical staff who certainly give you a look, but nobody approaches you to see who you are. They probably recognise the vehicle and the driver that's brought you, who remains at the camp.
Well, perhaps that is Broomhilda over there, our guide. I'll wave over to her.
So as soon as you wave, she kind of... You're not sure if she nods or just like tilts it, kind of like tilts her head to look down and nose towards in your direction. She kind of pushes herself up from where she's leant against the side of this rusty old truck and comes striding with this determined stride straight towards you, Randy. I'm Gunhilda. You are the Caduceus people, yes?
Yes. We have heard many wonderful things about you. Apparently, you are a guide extraordinaire when it comes to Iceland.
Well, I am a guide, yes. I hope my services will prove sufficient for your expedition. You're wishing to see the volcano, I believe.
Jacques Hughes. We do have concerns about aid workers that have gone missing, obviously, and as time is of the essence when it comes to missing persons. We thought maybe as a guide you could give us some more information about people who have gone missing and perhaps how we can go help those people as a priority.
I believe that is on the other side of the peninsula, Mr. You have a name, no?
Yes, it's Randall, but most people just call me Dull.
Mr. Dull.
I'm going to step forward to introduce myself, Mr. Johnson, but she may call me Dwight. But I'm going to attempt to do it in a charming way by speaking Icelandic.
Oh, God.
With the basic sort of hello in Icelandic.
Ooh, so you were learning some Icelandic on the way, weren't you? So give me a thing for learning languages quickly in Pulp. Give me a education roll. Give me a hard education roll. I will let you add some points to, because everybody has 1% in everything.
This can only go well.
Oh
no!
So
how bad could that be?
So it's a fail. It's not a fumble. So that would mean that you have not picked up any. You've not picked up any extra skills in Icelandic during the flight, but you've not. At least you don't think that you have.
Okay, so I guess I'm going to stumble, realise I don't know hello in Icelandic, and then just charm her in English.
Okay, so our English is quite, you've overheard an English is pretty good. So yeah, you can make by all means, what were you going to say to him?
Just introducing myself,
okay.
And that's all I need to do. Well, that's what he believes anyway.
Well, by all means, make us a charm roll if you wish. That is a fail by 8 points. You can, of course, just leave it as a fail, or you could push it if you can give reason for pushing it, or you could spend the luck. Or, like I say, we could just leave it.
I'm going to have to spend the luck. I cannot have the rest of the people looking around me thinking I'm not this charming, chivalrous man. So
Okay.
I can't have it. So I'm going to have to spend it.
Yeah, so you can. It's up to you how much you spend. You can spend 8 to get a normal pass, or you can go crazy for a hard or an extreme success. It's entirely up to
Just normal.
you. Okay. It says, Mr. Johnson. Yes, Caduceus mentioned you would be part of the team. She kind of like just pushes straight past Randall. Excuse me. Excuse me, Mr. Dumb.
Oh, Mr. Dumb.
Can you believe that?
Yeah, I'm going to give him a wink. Wink, Mr. Dull. And sort of ask her about the volcanoes and obviously carrying on from Mr. Dull's conversation about the people that have gone missing.
No, it's as I was saying to you, and she kind of waves absently, points absently towards Randall. The disappearances, the government, the governmental aid workers are the ones that have suffered some disappearances. This is not unusual in these situations. The area is quite dangerous. I must warn you. The frequency of the volcanic activity has been increasing dramatically over the past few days. There has been much damage to the area. The road that we must take is quite treacherous. It is broken. Fissures have broken the road in places, and there is debris. But I think we will be fine. We will be fine. So I will be taking you to the base of the volcano at least.
How badly has this recent volcanic activity decreased the population of the polar bears indigenous to this area?
We have no polar bears on the peninsula, Mr. Dull.
Not even one.
No. They unfortunately the early colonists wiped out the few that used to populate this area.
I'm going to whisper in her ear, game hunter.
Perhaps it is for the best, then, Mr. Dull. We are quite attached to what wildlife still remains here. Many are protected species.
How are they protected exactly?
With people with big guns. People with big guns.
By very strict regulations and laws. The courts come down very hard on people who would damage our ecology.
They've got them all in armoured vests.
But I am sure you wish to get underway. We have so she checks the time. So of course this journey is taking a few days. So it is probably, despite that, it's probably about, well, we've got time. It is about 3 o'clock in the afternoon, just past 3 o'clock in the afternoon. So it's 3. So we have. Let me see.
3 minutes of daylight left.
No, we have 6. We have 6 hours of daylight. There's only here in Iceland in May there are only 3 hours of darkness. 3 hours twilight, 3 dark.
And being used to big game hunting and traveling and stuff like that, I'm going to start unloading the plane of all the bags and cargo, and I'll start bringing them. I say, would you like to bring the AA over here, or shall I walk with the bags all that distance?
If you could, if you could bring your things to the truck.
I'll start bringing everybody's things to the truck while they're.
Is there a camp at the base of the volcano?
Is there a what?
A camp.
A camp. No, this is the closest camp to the volcano. This is even this location is potentially dangerous if the volcano erupts.
Okay.
It is about. She tells you it will take about 2 hours. Due to the state of the roads, it will take about 2 hours to reach the base of the volcano, and then it will take about an hour to 2 hours, depending on if conditions have changed, to climb to the summit.
That would then leave us very little time to get down and back. Maybe we should go tomorrow after a good night's sleep.
So, if that's what you wish to do.
Well, obviously,
I cannot. I am being paid handsomely by your organisation. So
I do believe that may be the best thing, because if it takes us 2 hours to get there and 2 hours to get up, we would immediately have to be driving back in time to get back.
No, this is perhaps true. I must, as I say, my only caution would be that, as I say, the activity of the volcano has increased dramatically in the past week.
Which is why I think being there in the day would be healthier for all of us than being there in the dark.
As I say, I am in your employ.
About how many other workers have we noticed there other than Broomhilda?
There are about a dozen Caduceus medical staff.
And there are no other vehicles there.
There is the car that brought you from the town, and there's probably a couple of other trucks that are noticeably in better condition. So in fact, I suppose this is Grunhilda's truck.
Okay, good. So other people have had to get out of here.
Oh yeah, they've got the means of getting out. So there you go. There's the truck. So basically, there's enough for the driver and one passenger in the front, and the rest of you have to climb into cram it and your belongings that you're taking with you, so you're not leaving at the aid camp in the back.
You say it will take 2 hours to get to the summit from the base of the.
An hour, 2 hours. It depends on if conditions have changed.
So the disappearances, they all occurred at the summit?
No. In the areas, in different areas around the peninsula, as I say, mainly to the west side, the opposite side to the volcano that we are located. As I say, the activity has caused tremors and fissures to open up all across the peninsula. If the volcano was to erupt, it is quite possible it would devastate the entire area. And as I say, this location, although it seems somewhat, serene at the moment, is not safe.
I actually ask her, what is the actual circumference of the volcano? Like, if we were to drive around, can you get round the whole volcano?
You cannot drive around. The road takes us past the western side of the base of the volcano. No. There's no road that runs around it. I believe the circumference of the base of the volcano to be 2-3 miles, perhaps more.
Is there
I'd like to
anywhere
go
Go on. No, carry on.
While they're having this conversation, I'd like to just go around and question the Caduceus employees here, find out who is in charge of this camp, and I'd like to have a few words with him at some point before leaving.
Okay. Is there any? I'm going to ask her. Is there anywhere I can go for a little bit of privacy?
Kind of like hold
There's
out
no-
your arms and take your pick, Mr. Johnson. There's no one. The next nearest settlement is the fishing village of Orostik, where in fact my brother lives. He's on the coast below the base of the volcano.
No, I just need sort of 10-15 minutes to myself in one of the tents, if possible.
Where the tents are not mine, sir, Mr. Johnson.
Oh, okay.
You take all the time you need.
Okay, I want to go and find one of the quiet tents. I'm going to sort of. I completely agree. I think tomorrow is probably the best of idea. I don't think getting stuck at the top of a mountain and trying to get back in the dark is necessarily the greatest ideas.
No.
But also, if we're looking for a base camp, a base within the volcano, surely it's unlikely to be down through the top of the volcano to get into it. There'd be an entrance somewhere else, wouldn't there be?
Which is why I asked about the circumference.
Yeah.
You wanted to add something, Dr. William?
Dr. Williams is off like doing his stretching exercise and bracing himself and enjoying the clean mountain air.
And it is beautifully clean, crisp air. Yeah.
Okay, I want to sneak off and go and use my divination.
Okay. So all of like I say the tents that you can see in the picture, the main tents that would be used to accommodate any casualties or refugees or anything like that, they're all empty. The rest of the staff, which you speaking to at the moment, Randy, are involved in erecting other tents for storage and for accommodation of the staff. But yeah, you can basically pick any of those tents, and there's like I said, there's about 20 beds in each tent. You know, kind of like canvas camping type beds, and none of them occupied.
Okay, cool.
Do the staff stay here at night?
Yeah.
Have we got like our own personal tent for us?
There will be probably a tent amongst the equipment that Caduceus has given you. Yeah, I mean, obviously, they're expecting you to find this facility. So, but yeah, there is a tent.
What? Even the staff that are putting up the tents know that much?
No, they don't know. They will just suspect that you're here as part of the humanitarian aid. So probably think your search parties or what? They don't know. They don't know specifically.
Yeah, and they won't question kind of thing.
Yeah, all they know is you're part of Caduceus. You've come to this place, and there's this guy. There's the guide that's supposedly taking you to the volcano. So perhaps they might even think that you're here to monitor.
Scientific, yeah.
Yeah. Because obviously monitoring the state of the.
I think we would definitely wait until the day after.
Uh-huh.
Oh, well, it kind of depends.
On being an idiot or.
Well, I mean, they say that the activity has increased quite a bit over the last few days. I mean, what kind of rate are we talking here?
Last week.
Yeah, a week.
I understand. However, there is one thing to consider, and I'm going to try to say this like away from Broomhilda and everybody else. There is still the matter of the lights that have appeared above the crater of the volcano. Perhaps it wouldn't be such a bad idea to even head out there, camp there, and investigate. If the lights are coming, we'll have a better chance in the evening time to observe them. It might even behoove us to plan to stay there. Of course, not all of us need to do that. I'd be happy to go with another person or two and camp out there while whoever wants to stay down here during the evening could do so. And then, the next day when you come up, we could report our findings.
I'm not adverse to going over and staying there overnight. I just think it'd be very reckless and very dangerous to go and be stuck at the top and then just having it being dark. If we were to go in the morning and climb up and check the area and find suitable shelter or spots for camping, then that would be absolutely appropriate. But going up there and then being at the top as it turns dark, and then we would stood there in it's dark. And we would investigate very little and be very dangerous, and we would achieve absolutely nothing.
That is quite wise. Well, then we should prepare for an entire day of investigating and to staying over at night, in case the lights do appear. And in fact, we can observe from down here to see if any of the lights appear.
Good, and we can have a nice stiff drink and enjoy the light show.
Yes, sir.
Is there like a big cloud of smoke?
There's constantly smoke. Coming from the top of the volcano. Constant stream of smoke.
Does Gunhilda know how long that has been? That would have been the first sign, right? I guess.
She tells you that has been going on for a few weeks.
Isn't this
seismic activity has increased over the past week?
Isn't it correct that the smoke and air at the top of volcanoes can be quite toxic?
Yes, it is. She tells you it can be dangerous. Yeah, which is presumably why should have employed Gunhilda.
Seems like Dr. Williams is quite adjusted to inhaling smoke. Perhaps it'll be less dangerous for him up there.
The air down here is fresh. We've been told so.
Oh, okay. So, let us cut over to one of the unoccupied medical tents where Mr. Johnson is. Mr. Johnson, what are you doing?
I want to get out my tarot cards. I've got a couple of things I want to divine.
Okay.
One is finding out whether the eruptions are a natural occurrence in the volcano, because I'm assuming it's probably being pushed on by something. And I'm trying to work out a question to word, because they're yes or no answers, aren't they?
They are, yeah.
So trying to work a way of questioning where the entrance to the secret lair is. So I was kind of going to go down the route of, is the entrance to the lair at the peak of the volcano? So so I only need 2d10 rounds to pull off both of these questions. It's a d10 per question, isn't it?
It is. Yeah. So reading, and because you've got plenty of time, the quiet environment, so it's just a regular check, a regular difficulty check as well. So if you wanna, I'll do the d10 for the time.
Okay.
And so, what is the question that you are going to ask?
I guess the first one is whether the volcanic activity is natural, Because I'm assuming it might be something being pushed on by the Inner Knight and what they potentially doing in the volcano.
So you turn, you lay out the cards, turn them over, get a reading, spend some time deciphering the layout of the cards, to interpret what is laid in front of you. It takes you a good few minutes. It drains you of, perhaps you feel a little bit, the exertion of it leaves you feeling a little bit heady, lightheaded. You lose 5 magic points. And the answer, the cards are a little unclear. They seem to say both yes and no.
Okay, that makes sense. That's kind of what I thought it might do anyway. So, okay.
And going ahead with the second one?
Yep.
Okay, I'm not going to bother with the time considering on that because you're not in the time constraints. And what was the second question, sorry?
Is the entrance to Dr. Evil's secret lair in the top of the volcano?
Again,
Oh!
it is unclear.
Oh.
I will allow you let's see. I will allow you an occult roll to see if you can make more sense of that response.
Okay.
Look at that.
Whoa, that was close.
So it seemed you. I mean, this is a supposition. You're from your experience with the cards, so you know like Side Street Hustler. You have experience with the cards and your ability and interpreting the meaning behind them. And you, like I say, you can't be 100% certain, but you believe the correct interpretation of what the cards are trying to tell you is that there is more than one entrance to this facility.
So there is one up the top then, and there's one at some of the sides. Because of the way I worded the question, I'm guessing. Okay, cool.
I will say no more than that.
Okay, cool. How much magic do you want me to take for the second one?
A mere 2 points.
Okay. Bargain for that one.
Indeed it was.
Okay,
Go on, sorry.
I was going to say I'll put the cards back away because I'm not convinced I want to trust everyone yet with what I can do.
Uh-huh.
So,
I mean,
hence three.
obviously Dr. Williams is aware of your talent.
Yeah.
Indubitably so.
Yeah.
Because you worked together for quite a few things. It's the reason. It's the reason why. Part of the reason why you were recruited by Caduceus in the first place.
Yeah.
So Randy, you wander over to where the Caduceus medical staff are assembling more tents for storage, tents and for accommodation of the staff. There are probably majority of the team are nurses, both male and female nurses, with about two actual doctors. There doesn't seem to be certainly no sign of an overseeing member of Caduceus here. The most senior people, if you want to apply seniority to them, the most senior people here seem to be the two doctors. Whether one of them is more senior than the other, it's not apparent.
Okay. Good doctors. And I'm Randy Savage, Randall, but my friends call me Randy. Tell me, who's in charge of the operations here at this forward camp?
So So one of the doctors Dr. Rice here is a senior physician.
Dr. Rice, if I may have a moment of your time.
Of course. We aren't exactly rushed off our feet.
No, exactly. It doesn't look like that we're very busy. Thank goodness for that, of course, because that would be
indeed. This is one thing. I mean, they shouldn't complain. Caduceus is paying our wages. The incident sounds to be potentially quite serious, but where we are located, it seems everything seems to be the guide that's been hired to take you to escort you seems to imply that this place could be potentially a dangerous spot if the volcano was to erupt. But well, I can't see us being particularly busy, unless there is an overspill from the western side of the peninsula.
Tell me something. Have there been reported lights around the area at night?
You can give me a look roll, Mr. Savage.
All right, I can do that. Well, unfortunately, I'm not even sure my luck is proper at this point because it seems way too high. But
I don't think you've spent it. I think you hoarded it for ages.
Well, I don't spend luck. I'm not a pulpy guy. But yeah, fair enough.
In fact, that reminds me of something about come up. Okay, so yes, there's Rosenbaum over there. She claimed to have seen some lights around the volcano.
Right. Mrs. Schaumbaum?
No. She's back at Caduceus. No, Rosenbaum.
And is she known to indulge a little bit, or do you consider her a credible person?
Oh, no, all my staff are handpicked, Mr. Savage.
Of course. So, with your permission, I would like to question some of your staff. Of course, I would never do so without engaging you and asking your permission first, and obviously giving you the content of what I'd like to speak to them about. For tomorrow morning, early in the morning, we're going to be requiring an additional vehicle. Is it possible that you can assign us one that is properly gassed up? We're going to be going.
I'm afraid I can't. I couldn't do that. If the worst were to happen, we would require all the vehicles to transport not only my team but any potential refugees. As you can see, the capacity of the medical tents is quite large. As I say, I suspect we're unlikely, but I must, as I'm sure you understand, I must plan for the worst.
If the worst were to happen, we would be a part of the teams going to help and rescue. So, providing us with a vehicle for our foray tomorrow for a few hours would, only assist you in your efforts of helping people. Of course, whatever we're going to be doing up there, our first and foremost priority is the health and welfare of the people here. Our mission is your mission. So by providing us with a vehicle, certainly it would only be to allow us to assist you further in helping those in need, in the unlikely event, of course, that it becomes necessary to do so.
You can give us a persuade roll, Mr. Savage.
All right. Oh, God. Can we say that somebody else said that instead?
You have got a ridiculous amount of luck, Mr. Savage.
I do. You know me. I like letting the dice decide. All right. Fair enough. Good doctor, I understand completely. Thank you for indulging me and giving me some of your valuable time. And if there's anything that I can do here to assist you in your efforts, please feel free to call upon me. As it is, we're
I appreciate the
burning
honesty.
time enthusiast's wallet in any case, and so I'm happy to have it. In fact, one of the members of our party, Jamie, she's quite a medical specialist herself, and I think you found that her talents,
we
would
weren't-
come in very much.
We weren't informed of that. That would be well.
Wow.
I'm sure your time will be taken up with your own assignment here,
Yes.
which is quite
And,
will be quite crucial. A forward team to give us a prior warning of any increase in the volcanic activity could be the difference between life and death of a number of people.
Of course.
Providing we
And-
actually get any people here at the
And-
feed camp.
Yes, certainly. And if you do have radio equipment, we'll be glad to have one of the radios so that we could be in communication back and forth while we take our little foray up there.
I'm sure that can be arranged. Yes, if you have not been provided, I'm sure you will have been provided with one. But yes, you can. You'll be able to keep in contact with us, of course. Otherwise, there would be little point in you being brought here to monitor the activity of the
Yes.
volcano. Of course, I mean the authorities, the Icelandic authorities, are doing so, but it's I presume Caduceus thought it advisable to have their own team on the ground.
Yes, quite so. Before I go and speak with Mrs. Greenbaum, if anybody else wanted to be doing something in this time, I'll let them have a little role play with you.
Okay. Woohoo! So yeah, what is everybody else doing? So before we do that, I will point out, despite the fact that Jake is very reluctant to spend his luck, even though it is Pulp Cthulhu, if you have a moment and would like to direct your attention towards the journal tab, there is a little thing in the journals tab called Pulp Reference Rules, where it gives you a quick reference on all the wonderful things that you can spend luck on in Pulp Cthulhu, which is one of the big differences. Well, luck is a far more far more useful resource. It's put to far a lot more different uses. Even to the point of saving you from death.
I remember that. But
If you've got enough points.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. So there's a couple of cheat sheets on what you can spend luck on, what you can't spend it on, how you get your luck back, and a few other bits of sort of other useful rule references. But luck is there to be spent.
yeah,
Yes,
oh,
There'll probably be a reward for Jake when he reaches the end of the campaign, having not spent anything. some kind of achievement or something. Right, anyway,
I
but
believe though my character will reach the end of his life in the campaign before the end of the campaign for sure.
I want to know when Jake's doppelganger is going to strike. No, it's Randall's doppelganger.
right. So, is there anything else that anybody else wants to do, or do you just want to prepare your camp and retire for the evening?
Yeah, I've been wandering around the camp, looking at the lay of the land.
Okay. Are you looking out for anything in particular? The landscape is quite. I mean, you can see obviously there's the most obvious thing is this dramatic line, this dramatic mountain range of which the volcano is part of. But aside from that, this mountain range kind of splits the peninsula in two, running north to south. Aside from that, the landscape is quite flat in comparison. Obviously, it's not completely flat, but it's it's pretty much as you can see in the images.
Any signs of any kind of old settlements, maybe down by the waterside? Any sign of any trails leading up the side of the mountain?
There are probably there are probably a few trails leading off, but they most likely appear to be animal tracks rather than man-made footpaths. There's certainly no curated paths or anything like that. And this place,
Don't let Randy know they're animal tracks.
this place is really isolated. There's nothing. There's no signs of any previous settlements. And as your guide told you, the nearest place is a small fishing village near the base of the volcano. So a bit further along the coast from where you are,
Not visible from here then.
No. The road is it's wide enough to be classed as a road, but it's not. It's not tarmacked, well maintained road. Or anything like that.
It's a cart track.
A little more than so. It looks to be maintained to some degree. So there's like gravel laid into it to fill that essentially fills up any major potholes and
It's a cart track with gravel on it.
Yes, essentially.
Rural. I like it.
But yeah, it is very, very rural, very isolated. Which, like I say, which the medical staff find odd, but it makes perfect sense considering Caduceus's real intentions for your visit here.
Mm-hmm. So I presume that the gentleman is sleeping in one tent and the lady singular is sleeping in another.
I would presume so. The tents are probably smaller, probably like 2-man tents. So the 2 gentlemen to a tent and one lady to a tent.
Yeah, and I think it makes sense to get up early to sort of crack on and make as much of the day out of it tomorrow as we can.
I may grumble about getting up early, but I am a scientist.
With Broomhilda, however, there will be 2 women to the tent.
So Brunhilde or Gunhilde?
Broomhilda now. Broomhilda.
No offense, but I've been calling her Helga.
It's Gunhildur. So yeah, she's got her own thing. It's already set up. She's been here waiting for your arrival, obviously.
Okay.
Sorry, did you actually speak to the nurse, Jake, that was that had claimed to have seen?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Maybe.
Right. So, like I say, if there's any, do you want to do anything more, or do you just want? Or should we say you're setting up camp, and we can progress to the morning, or unless you wanted to keep a watch out for any mysterious lights.
Well, I'll speak out to the nurse and then have a better idea if I want to, and So I think maybe now that would be appropriate.
So the nurse that I forgot what's the name that I gave her.
Rosenbaum.
Rosenbaum, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tannenbaum.
Not Schaumbaum. No relation. So she tells you that 2 nights ago she saw what she at first thought was a shooting star coming from the north, from the northern coastline. It came down through the clouds, below the height of the clouds, and seemed to skim really low across the top of the mountain range. I mean, she's a nurse, so the distance and things, perceptions of it might be wrong. But she claims it looked like it was skimming across the top of the mountain, and as it drew closer to the peak of the volcano, its sparks started to erupt from the back of it, and then it suddenly stopped. And she lost sight of it in the smoke and the darkness around the cone of the volcano.
Have you ever seen? How long have you been here? Is that the first time you've noticed it, or?
Yeah, she says that's first. She says yes, just at once. Heard that we heard locals were when we were on our way here. We heard locals talking about seeing similar things. But then they talk about trolls and fairies and elves. And...
I mean, you know, Iceland is so isolated. It's a part of the name. You can't spell Iceland without ice, and then you can't spell isolate without ice either. So, you know, that's just what it is with local peoples. But you've only noticed it that
How
one.
wise is Randall?
Yeah, she looks equally sort of like confused and. No,
Yes,
no, she's not seen that. She's only seen anything on that one occasion, and to her knowledge, best of her knowledge, nobody else has seen anything. And it was.
Oh, okay. All right.
It was just for a moment, maybe a minute, if that.
So these sparks that came out, it was almost like it hit something, or it was something was being, you know, ejaculated from the stars.
It looked like like the sparks had come out of a firework rocket.
Interesting. Well, you know, perhaps there's some sort of celestial events coming here. I have some you know, quite intelligent people on my group. Maybe they know about. Maybe there's a celestial phenomena that might be quite interesting to watch.
I don't know. It was pretty anyway.
And what time around would you say that
I
was
would
that you saw?
say that would be about 11 o'clock. Thereabouts.
Well, you know what? I think tonight I shall gaze upon the stars in that direction at about 11 o'clock as well. You're certainly welcome to join me if you like to. Not sure if you've had other company, but one in my group is also, and maybe not a registered nurse, but she is quite quite knowledgeable in the arts of medicine and healing.
I appreciate the offer, Savage. Maybe. And she...
Oh, please call me Randy. My friends call me Randy. All three of them.
Okay. And she, well, if you'll excuse me, rejoins the rest of the team.
Hey, Healthy. I gotta tell you what this nurse told me. Stars flying over at 11 o'clock at night. I think we should watch the skies tonight just in case.
Yeah, sure.
But if I do see them up there, I'm really gonna be upset that I didn't go tonight.
What was the nurse's
How long
name
do you
again?
think it would take you to hike?
Rosenbaum.
Mrs.
Rosenbaum. No relation to Schoenbaum. It's a different family tree. Ba-dum-tish.
Oh, it's a different branch. Yes.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. That sounds like a good idea. But no, I don't think you want to be hiking. Not across there. You heard what Gunhild is.
Yeah, well, yes, probably gets quite cold, but we'll see tonight. Perhaps I'll go around and collect firewood and for a fire, a nice fire around.
As you're saying that, I'm looking around, just looking for a tree.
The Icelanders chopped them all down a long time ago.
It is,
Yes, I guess
it's pretty
they-
devoid of vegetation.
Pretty devoid of everything, actually.
I mean, I admire your optimism, Randy.
Thank you.
Yeah. But I mean, maybe,
If not unrealistic.
yeah, maybe stay nearer the camp. People have been going missing around here. Maybe wandering off on your own is not a great idea.
The creator beckons me.
quite a clear line, really,
Yeah,
considering.
I was just wondering where he was pointing when he said that.
Imagine the majestic view from the summit, though.
So,
So I think I will take out my binoculars. I'm going to try to find a comfortable place. I mean, after dinner in the evening, and just kind of, sit and stargaze. Maybe take a.
is there anything anybody else wants to do? Anything else during the evening, or?
I'll probably watch with Randall.
Okay. But anybody else? No.
I would probably sit in with them. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're all
Not
sat around the
one to be left out. I do like to observe people. So.
Very well. In which case, we'll have a group look roll. So the person with the lowest look can make a look roll.
Me.
71.
85.
It's me. It's me.
What's your look?
Sadly, me.
39.
Yeah, crack on.
I shall bring out a bottle of medicinal scotch.
Yeah,
help.
does that give me a bonus?
It will help. It might give you a penalty. It will help us keep warm in the chill Icelandic nights.
Yeah.
That reminds me of that time in the.
Oh, look at that.
Ooh, not bad.
Yes,
Never in doubt.
Okay. So, shortly before midnight, at the darkest point of the Icelandic night, which only lasts 3 hours, you do indeed spot a point of light travelling not from the north but from the east. It passes almost directly overhead. This white, bright white light, and although it must be some quite a long way above you, really high up, but you detect this whining. You can hear this faint whining noise and almost feel like this sonic thrumming that vibrates the air. And the speed of it is like nothing you've seen, far quicker than any plane that you've ever seen. And it just streaks across the sky over your heads towards the volcano, and as it draws closer to the volcano, the stream of sparks just emits, just like the nurse said, just like rockets from the back, spark from the back of a rocket firework. This trail of sparks, and then it seems almost. It moves into the plume of smoke coming from the volcano, but it's still visible, and the sparks stop. And you can make a spot hidden roll. Anybody who's present.
I'm present, and I'm going to be alternating my rifle scope.
If you've got a
and my
scope,
field glasses.
you can have a bonus dice.
better.
Yeah, you can have a bonus dice in that case.
I fell asleep.
Yeah, my spotting luck's gone out the window. I've used my good rolls.
Oh, look at Randall.
Oh.
Okay, so everybody failed apart from Randall. So Randall, you through the.
I did it. I got a regular success.
Oh, right. Okay,
No,
so. Sorry.
I've had a bit too much scotch, and I'm asleep.
I would say if you'd fumbled, you would probably roll a fumble. You'd probably fall asleep. But yeah, you don't. Yeah, you lose the rest of you lose sight of it in this plume of smoke. But Alfie and Randall, you see it start to descend, but then Alfie, it's obscured by the thick smoke. It's dark. The lights sort of get dimmer and dimmer till you can't discern. You can't discern whether it's your eyes playing tricks on you or there's something there.
Now, being a trained hunter and knowing what to look for in terms of shapes of things that are obscured by fog and smoke and such, I'm going to try to take advantage of the fact that the light is dimming because of the smoke that is above it, and try to see if I can actually discern shapial features. I know I'm making up words.
No, that's fine. And I think with that that level of success, that's perfectly valid question. So right through the whether it be the scope of your rifle or through the binoculars, you're able to track the movement of this ball of light. And it stops. It's like stick completely stationary, and then descends. And as it descends through the clouds, like I say, it's kind of silhouetted, and it appears to be perfectly circular, like a ball. And you see it descends without question. It descends into the volcano.
Well, Professor Johnson, what is there one thing that we know for sure about items and objects in nature? We know that there is absolutely no such thing as a naturally occurring spherical shape, completely round ball in nature. What I can
you want to explain?
So I should say a word, but
I'm fairly certain that that object flying through is not some sort of celestial thing. It is far too circular from what I was able to see than would be naturally occurring in this universe that I know of, flat or round.
In fact, I will give you. In fact, because it's extremely, I will give you something else as well.
Serial number?
No serial number.
could you have origin?
It looked like it might be transparent.
Well, there would only be several reasons to fly a transparent object through the skies, and that would be for observing. The question is, what would that thing be observing? And I'm going to try to put a mental note to remember the spot above which I saw it stop.
Yep.
Like,
no
again,
problem.
using...
Yeah, that's no problem. Like I say, clearly, you saw it. It went inside, descended inside the crater at the top of the volcano. Definitely, without doubt. There's no question.
This gets curiouser and curiouser.
Wait, you say it was transparent? You could see right the way through it? Like a soap bubble?
Yes. It seemed to be opaque.
Oops, I was destroying cars.
In open.
No, you know. It was, yes, it seemed to be like as if it was, perhaps, for whatever reason, it was for viewing purposes. I've seen some strange things, obviously, with Caduceus, but this is just perhaps one of those other unexplained things. Darn it, I knew we should have been there tonight to have seen that closer up. Well, we know that it was here 2 days ago, so if we don't have luck tomorrow, perhaps we should prepare for at least 2 to 3 days up on the mountain. Whatever it is, that thing is something I definitely want to get a closer look at. It may be the only one of its kind, after all.
As I lost sight of the tracking, did you see it come down within the sort of entrance of the volcano?
Well, you see there at the cleft where the ridge looks like it juts up a bit. If you go take one hand span like that, with your thumb on the tip, it would be where the fourth finger is. That location here is where I saw it go down.
I think that turns out linked out as yes.
Okay, cool. So 2 days camping sounds fun in a volcano that's
Top of a volcano.
due to erupt at some stage, and things that can go right within the entrance of it.
Belching poisonous fumes as it is.
No, we probably won't get cold up there.
No, it won't be cold. We won't need to hold our breath. It's
It won't be cold. Let's just hope it doesn't get any hotter very suddenly.
Are we trying to collect firewood on the way to have up there?
I think there's a big enough fire up there already. Well, if we're going to be making an early start,
We need at least a couple of hours sleep. So
yeah, and make our way to my tent.
And bearing in mind, if you've ever tried sleeping in places like this, when the sunlight just comes up 3 hours into the fact that you still want to be asleep, it's not actually nice sleep at all, is it?
It's not. No. This is true.
Well, it depends on the amount of alcohol.
Yeah, you need that. Yeah, so it starts to get light after midnight.
wow. So we're
Just by the time we go into bed.
Yeah.
That's okay.
it's like you've been to a nightclub, and you're coming in at dawn, but you've not had any of the fun.
So twilight starts about 9 o'clock. It lasts about 3 hours, and then you've got 3 more hours of complete darkness, and then you've got 17 hours of daylight.
I think if she'd explained that fully to us, we could have gone to the volcano tonight.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, Gunhild she did mention
We had about 6 hours.
Yeah, you had about 6 hours.
Yeah.
But still
I may have got the wrong end of the stick.
We still got some interesting things. Let's try and bring an interest into this. Amusing. Well, anyway. Let's try and fit this bit. Let me see. So while you sat around your fire, or the gas heater, or the kerosene heater that you've been provided with, and you're watching for these lights, and in fact, maybe inspired by these lights, Gunhild is sat with you, and she tells you that a lot of local people have been seeing these lights, and that the superstitious people, a lot of the superstitious people, pretty like her brother, believe that these the elves, the hidden folk from folklore. He says that she kind of laughs, and she clearly has these thinks these folktales are no trees, just stories. This is but there is one story I like, which I relate to if you wish.
Absolutely.
So, do you want to go with the phonetically pronounced version, or the non-phonetic version?
Let's go with the non.
Okay.
Whoa. Good luck.
Okay, so the non-phonetic version. Okay. So, yeah, I was practicing the phonetic one, but it's really hard. So, she tells you this. So this is a well-known myth in my home region, around this area. While maybe not so well known as other parts of Iceland, this area I speak of, it's known for rough terrain, cold winters. It is one of these few areas in Iceland that has any sort of population, and it is not close close to the sea. There, because of this, it was one of the places were last to be inhabited, or well, around 1500, I think. It was first inhabited by, because of the there is a high amount of obsidian in the rocks in the area. That was cut down and sent over to Scandinavia, across the sea, Scandinavia. Used for surgical knives. Yes. The stones were harvested and then moved down by river to sands close to old town then called Eirabaki. Where they could be shipped back to Denmark. Somewhere to be 1650 was a man named Jean, working for the biggest landowner in the obsidian. Yes, this man Jean de Riche. Well, Jean is a popular name here, very common in Iceland. Jean had been working for Jean de Riche for 15 years of 20 years promised. You understand? Work for Pulp, yeah? After that, he would get to marry Jean Riche, daughter Gundrun, and obtain the business. So Jean was moving the obsidian to Eirabaki. Back into in a time the obsidian was moved on small boats, yes, with one man on each side of it. And with a large chain between them, connecting to the boat here. So one chain between the boat to both sides. Yes?
Yes.
So Jean was holding the chain on the other side, and only an old man called Mangi the lazy was on the other side. Yes, he was a lazy man. The trip from the obsidian mines to Eirabaki would only 3 days. The river is current heavy and narrow in some places, while it is so wide that it is hard to see over the other side. The trip was going well for the first day, and at the evening they camp on each side of the river. They both tend the fire and go to sleep. But during the night, they sleep by the chain to make sure the current will not take the boat and be precious obsidian be lost. In the middle of the night, Jean wakes up to a scream coming from the other riverbank. He looks over and he sees that the fire on the other side has almost gone out. He hears another scream, this time from something not human, something massive.
What a bear.
Maybe. Suddenly, the chain to parts vas tethered to a rock starts moving. Yeah? Jean jumps to the chain and grabs it just in time, just before it gets loose and slips into the river. As he stands with the chain in his hands, he looks over to the other bank and sees a large creature holding the other end of the chain. Then suddenly, without warning, the creature yanks the chain. Just like how you say, I am yanking yours.
What a terrible punchline.
Oh my god.
And so she laughs, pats you on the back, and returns to her tent.